I say to some of my colleagues who've been around how long we've been fighting pharma, how long we've been taking on these interests. From the time I got to the Senate 720 years ago. I'm serious. Think about it.
720 years. Think about it, Jack. Welcome back. Beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudkowski here of WeAreChange.org. And holy moly, there's a bunch of crazy stuff to get into today, especially when it comes to all the news internationally and domestically, but specifically, I think it's definitely fair to say that we're living in very tumultuous times, as of course things are changing very fast, very swiftly, and as many Americans believe, definitely not headed towards the right direction. They went after the MyPillow guy. Lots of other details and crazy circumstances coming in surrounding that case. What is the larger ramification here? Where is this leading towards? Well, we're going to be doing our best to answer that here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, the Uniter-in-Chief, our very spry leader who at the helms of his fingertips has the ability to launch nuclear Armageddon at any point in time that he decides. This says, of course, this possibility is looming and becomes more probable, especially with the larger proxy war between the East and the West happening right now in Ukraine, where also very surprisingly, astronomers are documenting a lot of unidentified flying objects in that specific country, which leads people down a very big rabbit hole and has them speculating to what in the world is going on here. Are there aliens and intergalactic species interfering, trying to prevent another nuclear war, as there are some popular theories around this, or is this the latest and greatest military-industrial complex technology that the world still does not know about and modern-day scientists can't quantify? What's the reason behind these unexplained sightings in Ukraine? Well, who in the world knows? But one thing that we do know is that China and Russia are working together to, quote, create a new world order. This, according from a Chinese state official, detailing the high-level strategic cooperation happening between Russia and China. This as one of the biggest globalist henchmen, Klaus Schwab himself, the student and mini-me of Dr. Henry Kissinger, recently came out on Chinese state television, propping up the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative as the new form of globalization that he is fully behind and supports. International businessmen, billionaires, and globalists working with the Chinese government that is spying, tracking, and using the latest technology in order to create a totalitarian hellscape that they're beta testing in China, working together? Gee, who would have thought that would have happened? Yeah, we've been calling it out for years, and that's exactly what's happening here, and the Klaus Schwab latest Chinese state TV appearance codifies this and highlights the larger con game being played against the American people and the people of the world. This as financially, the world is also facing a reckoning after the largest transfer of wealth in recorded human history, where, of course, a lot of powerful people used a health crisis to, of course, take all the money and resources for themselves while screwing over everyone else over. Now, because of that, there's some large consequences. The consequences are, of course, being felt in the developing world. Places like Lebanon, where the purchasing power of the currency lost 90% of its power since late 2019, leading to the popularity of bank hostages being held by individuals who have money in the bank, but the bank refuses to give it to them. Desperate people, of course, are acting in very desperate ways and literally holding the bank hostage for their own money in their bank. These are the types of situations unfolding right now in the developing world, of course, coming our way to the Western world, where, of course, inflation is also running rampant and the cost of everything is going up dramatically, even taxi fares that are expected to go up 23% in New York City. This, as of course, politicians' pet projects and dream projects are, of course, funded, as, of course, Army soldiers here in the United States are suggested to go on food stamps in order to fight the inflation that they're dealing with. Yes, you heard that correctly. The U.S. Army just released new guidances for soldiers to fight inflation, and their suggestion is for soldiers to sign up for food stamps under the SNAP program, essentially telling them to go on welfare welfare because of how financially screwed they are by the U.S. Federal Reserve and the banksters that, of course, took everything from them. And while the suffering continues, the Biden administration is literally celebrating as they just held a victory party on the White House lawn, which, very interestingly, every liberal media outlet called out as absolutely premature, as, of course, they're doing a victory lap when there's so much struggling, when there's so much pain, when there's so much poverty, is absolutely disgusting and akin to something we would see in dystopian movies like Hunger Games. And, of course, in reality, we're not that far away from Hunger Games like reality, where, of course, the dystopia, the propaganda, the disinformation are so thick, it's impossible almost not to make direct parallels to that kind of dystopian movie and fiction that is becoming more of a reality every single day. This, as still, some people are being threatened to be fired as government workers for not complying with the system. I'm going to be talking about this issue plus a lot more on LukeUncensored.com. We now, by the way, take Stripe payments. There were some people saying, I don't want to use PayPal. Fine, you don't have to. We could use Stripe. We're going to use Parallel Economy also later on. We're giving you a plethora of options here, as of course we also have masterclasses, exclusive merchandise, a forum, really incredible things along with videos almost every single day that are only available for members of LukeUncensored.com and no one else. This is our own private little club, our own private little society. There's a lot of things that I can't talk about here on this family-friendly broadcast, but I will be talking about that, plus a lot more later on today. LukeUncensored.com. The video is available for you right now as we are speaking, and there's a lot of big things to quantify and talk about that should really blow people's mind away, and I definitely don't want to give too much of it, but there's a lot of common knowledge that is absolutely wrong that we're going to be breaking down in this particular video. Definitely not for the normies, Kyles, and Karens out there. See you there right after this video. Now, when you look at the domestic political situation in the United States, you're left with just saying to yourself, my God, could it be any worse of a crap storm headed our way, as of course the divide and conquer agenda has been ratcheted up to severe levels with big consequences for everyone, not just people, of course, on the sidelines, but everyone. Just moments ago, the New York Times reported on the Durham investigation, the special counsel appointed by Donald Trump, that looks, according to the New York Times, that it won't be going anywhere, that the chances of anyone being charged here are very remote. This, as of course, people who were theorizing that this was going to end things, this was going to rectify things, this was going to change things in Washington, look like they just fell into another trap here. This, as the current party in power has been using the Department of Justice as their own personal department of intimidation and prosecution, as the FBI just tracks down the MyPillow guy who invests in a lot of Donald Trump causes, who is a major supporter of his and his ideas, which he finances, was just intercepted last night at a Hardee's, of all places, tracked down by the FBI, who surrounded his car and seized his cell phone, which Mike Lindell later on went on to say uses to conduct all of his business and is also used to control his hearing aids, which he wasn't able to use without them, as the FBI literally seized it from him at a drive-thru, leaving him stunned and shocked. He later went on social media and then highlighted the letter that they gave him, telling him not to tell anyone of this particular incident, telling him to keep his mouth shut, which of course he didn't. And it definitely seems like the FBI definitely jumped the shark here, as you're going after the dude selling pillows? Really? Why? How is this justified? This absolutely makes no sense at all, especially from the average viewer who's asking themselves, the dude sells pillows. What did he do? Did he attack someone? Did he hurt someone? Did he rob someone? What did he get away with? Was he able to organize some kind of large scheme against somebody? What? And of course, those questions still largely remained unanswered, as we're finding out that the FBI used identity theft and, quote, conspiracy to commit identity theft in order to justify this search warrant against him, which now will, of course, be snooping through every personal message and private interaction that he had. When you have someone's cell phone, you have someone's entire records. And with the ever so egregious aggressive moves by the FBI recently going after a lot of Trump supporters, it makes you wonder, hey, do they really have something here, or are they just doing a larger fishing operation, which absolutely makes sense, trying to see if someone goofed up, trying to see if someone made a mistake, trying to see if someone maybe actually did something wrong, rather than, of course, following standard protocol and investigating people when they do wrong, instead of just punishing them on the suspicion of it. And again, I say this as not a fan of Donald Trump or his ideas, but you're going after the pillow guy for alleged identity theft, damage of protected computer this absolutely doesn't make any sense at all. And of course, the former president of the United States went on his social media platform and blasted what he called the weaponized FBI, saying that he lives in a, quote, weaponized police state, as it definitely looks like the Biden administration is putting out all the stops trying to stop their political opponents from existing, as of course Mike Lindell is a major funder and influence in the Donald Trump sphere, taking him out, taking his cell phone, trying to investigate him, trying to make him now get lawyers, making him focus all of his attention, of course, will have an impact, not just on the local elections coming up, but of course the bigger elections in 2024, where of course many people expect the former president of the United States to run again for the White House. This, as today we're also learning to The Guardian that allegedly Mike Pence will not be his vice president, won't be his running mate, and as there's turmoil within the Republican Party, the Democrats are off saying some very salacious, hardcore things about their political opponents, linking them to Al-Qaeda, saying that they're domestic terrorists, saying that they should be treated like the people who committed 9/11 in this country, and even going as far as to say that they have to, quote, kill and confront the movement of extremist Republicans. These are the words of U.S. Congressman Tim Ryan, U.S. Representative from Ohio, saying extremely salacious, hyperbolic, dangerous rhetoric on MSNBC that is using this dangerous rhetoric on national television, highlighting yet another dangerous escalation as the majority of the American public is left wondering, why are you guys doing this? Most Americans can't afford basic living standards. They're having a hard time paying for food, for gas, for rent. There's rampant homelessness and criminality being promoted by party establishment members of the government, letting criminals literally out on the streets. People's savings are being obliterated. There's double-digit inflation. The stock market is tanking, and this is what we're investing all of our time in, trying to hurt the other political party that's not in power. They don't have the majority in Congress or in the Senate or in the White House, but somehow they're responsible for all the problems they're facing. No, the American public knows that's not the case. And for this larger civil conflict to unfold during all of this fiscal and financial pain and suffering happening to the poorest people of this world is, in my opinion, absolutely distasteful, and absolutely the American ruling class does not have their priorities straight. And I think most of Americans realize that, and I think this is definitely going to be represented in the next coming elections. That's just my own personal view. That's just my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you thought I was wrong, or if you think I got anything wrong, or if you think I need to see something from a perspective that I didn't naturally expose myself to that you want to highlight for me, let me also know down in the comment section below, or on my social media, or on my Twitter, at LukeWeAreChange. And I appreciate this type of communication. I appreciate you guys being here all the way up until the end of this video. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org. One more video right now available for you on LukeUncensored.com. See you there.